part 2 of repairing curb rash. This is AJ, if you didn't know already from the last video. Alright, so what did we do last time?
Last time we put it on this and we cleaned it.
Okay, cleaned it. So we prepped it. Okay. We got it to bare metal. Do you know why we got it to bare metal?
No.
So the Bondo could stick to it, remember? And then we mixed up the Bondo and shaped the Bondo to exactly what we need. Alright? Alright, so today we're gonna sand it down and prep it for primer, for paint. Alright? So this is the most important step. Now that we got the Bondo, all those cracks are all filled. When we sand it, it'll smooth it all out so the primer can stick to it really good. So what we got here is we got the 180 again. We're gonna start with 180 and we're gonna do wet sanding. So you dip it in the water, put water all on it. I would usually use a spray can, but I mean a spray bottle. And then, remember how I say you don't want to focus on one spot?
Yeah.
So all the way around. So we're just doing the base of it. The reason I'm starting on 180 is because I put a little extra Bondo and there's a lot to bring it down so you get it nice and even. Dip it in water. I'm gonna keep doing the 180 and then we're gonna switch to the 400 and I'm gonna have you do the 400. So the 400 will smooth everything else out, okay? So.
How long does it take?
Just to where you think it's good enough, but you want it like real smooth. But at least, you know, you'll learn how to do this, you know, for yourself. Or if you have a girlfriend and she messed up her car and have a little oopsie moment, you'll be able to.
I had a girlfriend, now I have an ex-girlfriend.
You have an ex-girlfriend?
Yes.
Damn, how did that happen?
I don't remember, it was a long time ago.
A long time ago. Oh, okay. How old are you?
7. I'm 7 right now.
You're 7 right now? And you already had a girlfriend?
Yes.
What was her name? Myra. Okay. Are you ready to start sanding?
Yeah.
Okay, a little smaller. And with the 400, you dip it in water. I want you to go on everything, like that.
So this on this?
Just on this side right here. From right here, all the inside too, okay? Make sure you get the inside, and then you go over all of this. Okay? So you want to go over everything like this. Ready?
I have no gloves.
It's okay. I'm gonna keep working with you, so we'll work together. So this is equivalent to about the 400 that you were doing. With this one, I just want you to go over the whole rim. Everything, inside and out, on the front.
Off the wheels.
Yeah, everything, even in here. Just press it so the primer can stick onto something.
What about this whole wheel?
No, this is the tire, this is the rim. Everything together is a wheel, okay? Not the tire, just the metal, all the metal. So go over everything with this one. You got it? At this point, now that we got it all sanded on the front side, we're gonna prep the back side. We're not gonna put it on video as much. Basically doing the same thing. We're gonna scuff it up to where the primer could grab onto it and clean it up really nice and smooth, so it'll be good. But we'll lay this down and show the camera onto it. So you can kind of see all the darker spots is where the Bondo filled in all the curb rash. And it's nice and smooth. All right. What do you think?
It actually looks awesome.
All right. So before we go to primer, I ran my finger across it one more time, and if you look right here, you see where it's dark gray? That's because the Bondo filled a lot of it. And you run your finger over it, you can still feel a little bit of indent. It's still like dented up a little bit right there. So for those type of spots, the glazing spot putty is perfect for it. But a little bit over. All the little imperfections.
That's like
put
wet
it on.
and orange.
Yeah, and then it dries up too. So all the spots where there's still a little bit in, we'll put some of that. Now we're gonna let it dry one more time, and then we're gonna come out, sand it. We're not gonna show that on video. Then the very next thing we're gonna show on video is having it ready for primer and paint. All right, go ahead, press in. All right, guys, welcome back. So as you could tell already, we got the rim and tire prepped up, ready for paint. I decided to film this part solo
since I don't have a respirator for a little man to witness, but I did promise him I'll show him the video when I'm done. So what we're basically doing is we're gonna wipe it off one more time with acetone and a paper towel. Then I'm gonna top it off with a tack cloth to make sure there's no dust or debris. Since it's currently 60 degrees outside right now in Dallas, I'm warming up the cans of spray paint. So right now I'm warming up the primer. We're gonna shoot the barrel first with a couple coats of primer, and then we're gonna flip it around and do the face. A couple coats of primer, and then we're gonna let it sit. We're gonna do wet sanding just to make sure I got everything that I wanted to get, and then that's when we'll turn it back around, do the barrel again with the actual paint color that it's gonna be, and then from there, so on and so forth, repeat. And then I'm gonna top it off with a clear coat once I'm happy with the overall color and make sure everything is situated. All right. For the primer, I'm using a filler and sandable type primer. That way the filler can get into all those little minor scratches and we'll be able to sand it off with no issues. I already heated it up. I shook it for about solid 2 minutes. Now the very first coat you want to do pretty light. You want to do as light as possible. Light coat just like that. And we'll wait 10 minutes and then you're gonna hit it with another coat. Guys, so I let it dry for 10 more minutes and I rotated the wheel just so I could get the opposite angle to make sure I get full coverage with the primer. It's been about 10 minutes and as you can see, I flipped it around, set up the cards for the front face. I'm going to lay our first coat of primer real light. Alright guys, welcome back. This video has been a little delayed due to the weather not working out for us. You'll probably hear some wind noise. The wind is still pretty high, but at least the temperature is 72 degrees right now, so perfect to paint. It should grab on pretty good. I did end up wet sanding it. That's why it's not as dark as where we left off. I didn't need to wet sand it, but I wanted more smoother surface than a little bit of the sort of gritty look. So I decided to wet sand it. I didn't record that. Just weather conditions haven't been ideal to. Barrel already dried off. Now we're going to flip it around and start on the flip. Guys, now we're gonna hit it with a TK flip. All right, guys, here is the final product after the clear coat dried up a little bit. Obviously, the tire's still a mess. It's not the tire we're gonna have on it. All the curb rash is gone. It's the exact color I was looking for. Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying tuned. The very next episode, I finally get AJ back. We're gonna work on replacing disc rotors and brakes on the daily, which obviously can also be used for pretty much any car that has disc brakes. It's pretty much the same procedure. So I'm gonna get his hands dirty with changing brakes. All right. Make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Tell me what you think of this color.